You tell a lovely story about going for a very important audition with Roland Joffe.
There was an advert in the local paper. Anyone with an equity card and trade union experience come to right away. I was not long out of jail and that, you know, I was still blacklisted and that. So I wrote away saying I had experience and I put a phony name on, you know, Eric Johnson or whatever it was at the time. And I got a reply back, come to LWT, you know, in London. So I was living in North Wales then, in a little village called Coed Poeth, and in the next village, in Bersham, lived a mate of mine who was a bricklayer. And I told him, I said, I'm going to London. He said, can I come with you? He said, I'm going to try and get a job on the Barbican. They were building the Barbican. So I said, yeah. So I had an old post office van. So we filled it with juice and took a few sandwiches and all that in a flask and just chugged, I mean, literally chugged along. And as we come off the motorway, it's a great big sign that said London. And I said, yeah, we'll park here. You know. So I parked behind this sign. And Tony, this lad's name was Tony Gates, and Tony said to me, I'm going to the Barbican, you're going to LWT. Well, whenever you finish your interview, stay there and I'll make my way to you. And I said, OK. So we go. And I walked in, and I've got the invitation, and there's all fellas there, old fellas, collars and ties with the T&G badge in, and UCAT badge, and I thought, oh my God, I haven't got a chance here. Anyway, after 15 or 20 minutes, he took me up to this room, the casting lady, Nikki Finch, lovely lady, and there's this young fella sitting there with a coat on, a leather bomber jacket, and fancy beautiful black boots, Chelsea boots, and he's got his feet on the table. And you know what went through my mind? If my mum was here, she'd clip you round the ear for putting your feet on the table. Anyway, he got talking to me and he said, how are you doing? What you blah, blah, blah. And he started winding me up and I didn't know, and he was saying, you don't know what it is to be hungry. You don't know what it is to be skint. You know, you've got no respect. And I stood up, you know. And I went like that. My feet were, I'd walked 8 miles across London. And my feet were bleeding and I went like that. I said, what do you think that is? Nail varnish? And I said, stick your job up your arse. And I shot out. And the next thing, he's running after me, shouting, I know who you are. You're Ricky Tomlinson. I'm shouting, get stuffed. Down in the lift, my mate's waiting for me. I said, come on, let's go. And he said, did you get the expenses? Because we didn't have a carrot. I said, back in the lift, I went something. I knocked on the door. And the casting lady opened the door, and it turned out this guy was named Roland Joffe, who I love to death. And he went, what is it now? And I said, you promised me my expenses here. He said, how much is it? I said, well, the train fare's 22 quid, you know. So he said to the girl, give him £25. And so I got down, I went home, and I thought, that's it. A few weeks later, I got a phone call up, because I told him all about me building passion being in the bin. And I got a phone call off his secretary. He said, Roland said, could you get up to Oldham and do a workshop for him? So I phoned my mate, Tony Scoggo, who played Matty in Brookside, you know. And I said to him, let's get up to Oldham, I've got a job, I've got to build a workshop for this fella. So we put the tools in his car and he shot it. And I went in, and there was a girl at this, we went to this address, it was like just a big hall. And I said to the girl, come here to do the workshop for Roland, you know. She started laughing. She said, what do you mean? I said, you know, the workshop, and Scoggo's giving me that. Anyway, it turned out it was an audition, you know. Yeah. And there's people there now, like Frankie Clark, who wrote Letter to Brezhnev, and his sister. Yeah, and that was it. And on the way out, we done the audition, and on the way out, he just said to me, I'm doing this film, and do you think you could manage a few lines? Because he knew I'd never done anything. And it turned out it was the lead, you know. Yeah. And it was great. Well,